Well, the music went off when I did that. That's the first time this ever happened. Amazing. Good morning, Tender Anna. Should I call you Tender or should I call you Anna? I didn't tag anybody because I'm driving. I'm in traffic. But what did I can't? Let's see. I can remember because I did it. Saying my language is changing. I commented. I titled it. We are one with all. And if we're one with all, then we are all. It's like if you're united with God, united means together as one, right? Then you are the very God that you're united to and with. Ooh, there's my mama right there. How about that? I love you, mama. We're putting on roofs today. Putting roofs on, looking at roofs, delivering materials, and having fun the whole along the way. And this has been on my heart. What I wanted to talk about. Excuse me. And for a few days now, actually, the other day, well, yeah, the other day I was watching the guy that does London Real, Jason. I forget his last name right now, but it'll come to me. But he uh, he did like a little documentary on himself. Brandon, what's up, brother? And and he went and did ayahuasca down in Costa Rica, and so and he had many people on that had these experiences through ayahuasca, which is a plant down in I don't know that much about it, but from what I understand, he went down to Costa Rica and they have these shaman men that dedicate their lives to a simpler way, really, in contemplation and meditation and just staying connected with all one, the universe, nature, Mother Earth. I mean, everything, everyone, because we are one. And these guys use ayahuasca to dive deeper within themselves to get down to the root of the reasons, they have walls built up and things, and really for wholeness, you could say. And so, but I was listening to these people that have had these encounters, and I've listened to others before, and they all, maybe after several times, maybe the first time, but they all have this. There's kind of a common theme that I saw, and they all have this experience where, like, they feel small. Like, I don't mean like when I say small, I don't mean it in a negative way, not as in lesser, but they feel as how small they are as a part of the totality of all things. If that made sense, I hope it made sense. That, like one guy said, Mother Earth, he said, God, I think, broke me down to nothingness, nothing. And he was saying it was a very dark experience, but it was a very life changing experience, you could say, because he had this realization that he is a part of many parts that are all parts. They're all connected as one, making up the totality, making up the whole being, you know. So I've got a really good analogy for this. And what I'm really talking about and what's burned in my heart, I would say my entire life, even when I was walking, you know, doing things to myself and to others that were really harmful for me because I had lost myself. Not lost myself, I just didn't know. I, I thought I was someone else. and I want to talk about that. That's not myself. That's not the self. That's another. And all that was set up in my mind. It was a psychological construct of who I was taught and who I thought myself to be. But it was an illusion. It was another's image. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Brian. What's up? There's my brother-in-law, business partner, best partner anyone could ever ask for. But so my dad, before he passed back in 2014, cancer. He battled with cancer. And he really battled. He battled. He really did. He battled for 7 years. Oh, I did not disturb. Oh no! I bet you I could get out of here and hit it, but I don't want to. I don't want to risk it. Good morning, Kay. Good morning, Dr. K. Mama K. Many, mother to many. I would say many, 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 many. Thankful for you. Yeah, thankful for everyone on here. But so my dad, before he passed, he told me, and I was really, really religious at this point. I had basically been miraculously delivered from lots of things. In an instant, I was set free from a whole lot of stuff. And I was in my house by myself when it happened. And I was about to kill myself. And something happened that that's unexplainable. So I get emotional when I talk about it. It's crazy because I can feel it, all over again. It's nuts. It's like it's still happening. And and so my dad told me that he said, and um, the Bible and the descriptions of heaven and listening to other people and their descriptions and that kind of stuff. And my dad said heaven was nothing like what we had been told. And I was like, and it offended me, it really did. And because I would I would try to tell my dad about these about the Bible and scriptures, man. I mean just and like he'd never read it first off. He'd read it many times. And and my dad would look at me and say, Alec, and I don't want to offend anybody, but this is what he said to me. He said, Alec, the Bible was written by men that can make mistakes, that, that are only writing from their understanding and their perception of things. Hey, Ruth, glad you're on here. And and it offended me, man. And then he said, heaven, I had an experience. He said he died once before, and we're talking about a man that 86% of his bone marrow had been overtaken by multiple myeloma cancer, and and it actually went dormant. He fought, and then colon cancer came back. This is real talk here. See, I get teary eyed. But he told me, he said he had died once before, and I'm just going to be upfront with y'all. He ate some bad mushrooms. He was a hippie back in the day. Still a hippie. He's still a hippie. He's very open minded, um, and very accepting of all people. And he ate him, and I believe my mom actually, he had eaten some mushrooms or drank some tea or something, and it wasn't the right kind of mushroom. And he said he died. Now, whether that he really died or not and passed on, or whether he had some kind of crazy encounter, Doesn't matter. What he saw is what matters to me. He said, I went down. I felt like I dropped down. He felt like he got pulled out of his body and he dropped down. And this ties in with the ayahuasca experiences that people have, some, you know. And he said he went into this dark place and he felt scared at first. And then he felt a presence there and he felt as if he was rising or ascending, you know. And he said he came into this place that was complete light. It was light. And he said, you know, it was very hard to explain. It wasn't like some bright light you couldn't even look at, like this pure, just white light. And now that made sense to me because I had had an encounter with Jesus through dreams, and Jesus came through the ceiling of this sanctuary I was in, and he was a pure white light, so pure that I wasn't able to look at it in my dream. It wasn't because it was so bright. It was bright, but it was just this. It was a white I'd never seen before. And so when my dad told me that, I was like, huh. And he said, here's the thing. It's not like I went into this city that was, you know, with streets of gold. He said, I was in a place as if I got broken down to the molecular level, but I could feel everyone that was there and that I was one with everyone that was there. And I felt extreme peace and love like you'd never felt before. So he broke, instead of going to some place, it was as if he broke down to this molecular level, subatomic, whatever you want to call it, but he could feel that he was one with everyone that was there, although it wasn't as if he was seeing a body. So he was a part of many parts. He was a part of many, 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 many members or parts, all connected, all united, all one, that make up this, you could say, greater being, but I hate to use the word greater because then you think lesser. It's dualistic. The whole, the circle, and this circle, this circle, this wholeness is not just human beings. And don't think I'm crazy talking about aliens and stuff, because I'm not talking about that, but because I have not been shown anything concerning that. But I'm not gonna say it's not real, because I've seen things, you know. But I'm talking about everything. Molecules, subatomic particles, everything you see, everything that makes up everything. Trees, um,
Birds, everything. The soil, the water, everything. Everything. And what's burned in my heart my entire life, I would say, and when I saw it in the Bible, it struck a chord with me. When I heard Martin Luther King say it, it struck a chord with me. When I heard Bob Marley singing about it, when I heard John Lennon singing about it, when I heard John F. Kennedy speaking about it, when I heard Gandhi speaking about it, when I read Buddha speaking about it, peace on earth, that there would be a people, and I had a dream not long ago where I was under a tree, and there was a people, I was told the name of the people, which I wrote down, I could tell you later, but there was a people that walked hand in hand together. No more separation. One. Now, I've said many things, I've had these dreams and stuff, and I was told that there were going to be the entire regions where that illuminated from the light within people. That in this region, that we were the internet, that we were connected in this way, that there'd be entire groups that spoke through the heart, that you just know one another in this way, that this way that we're speaking now is a lower, you could say, lower form of communication. And I was told that, and I'll talk about it. I was told that in a dream. This connectedness, and so when I was watching this ayahuasca thing, and where they felt smaller but part of the whole, and then Sadhguru, amazing man, he came on and he said, and this hit me so hard. He said, we are happening right now with everything else. When I exhale, the tree inhales. When the tree exhales, I inhale. This circle of life, that we're all connected with, and I'm gonna make a full turn here in a minute, and it's all gonna come together. I was asked once on a podcast that what has this realization of oneness done for me? What's the importance of oneness? I was asked that, and I'll tell you why. When we're born, does anyone ever have to tell us not to cut our finger off? Not to take a knife and cut it off? Does anyone have to tell us not to stab ourselves? Does anyone have to tell us not to, hurt ourselves, harm ourselves? No. Now, people may do that after they've been harmed and hurt and shamed and told there's someone else. But we naturally know not to hurt ourselves. Now, as we come up, we're taught by all these external teachers, starting with your family, educational system, the medical system, the financial system, the governmental system, the religious system, and the entertainment system. And then we're also taught by things that happen to us that hurt. And it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be verbal. And everybody responds and reacts and takes these things differently. Everybody does. But all that happens and all that we're taught from others, books, a preacher, the media, it's teaching us, and because we're taught it, we embrace it and we think it. It's teaching us who we are according to another, which is not who you are. And I'll tell you why. You and me and all of us, and everything every single thing, every cell, everything. We are so unique. We are so very unique that there's never been another. And there'll never be another. Like you, even trees, they're all unique. You won't find another like another. But that uniqueness, those unique characteristics, those very distinct unique characteristics are not distinguishing us from this being we call God. These are not distinguishing us from the one and only being, the one. This uniqueness distinguishes us as the one and only being, which means this is our common bond. This is what connects us all. Because those distinct, unique expressions that we are the one's distinct, unique expressions as someone named Alec, or as my guardian pine tree, or as a very unique dog named Benny. And so we are many unique expressions that make up the one. And we always have been. We always have been. And because you are a protocol, you are a kainos creation, manifestation, unveiling, expression, unfoldment, whatever we want to say, evolution of energy, source energy. But because you're that unique, you can't be taught who you are. Who you are is, I'm going to use the word the Christ, and I'll explain that. Mashika in the Aramaic, the anointing, or let's use a word that's very easy to understand, the expression and projection and outpressing of source energy, the one and only being of source. And because you're so unique, you can't be taught from external teachers. I believe we can only encounter and experience who we already are and who we've always been. We already know. And because just as my body has many parts, the one and only being has many parts that are all one and connected, that are one. This is the self. This is the self. And it's not just things you can see. And it's not just people that are present. I'm talking about, if you want to talk in terms, past, present, and future. If you want to look at it linear. And the importance of this realization that we are one with and as all things goes back to the very thing I just talked about, is because I would never hurt myself. And if I feel you are part of myself, I would never hurt you. I would never do harm to you. I would never do you wrong. I would never kill you. I would never try to destroy you. I would never be violent towards you, angry towards you, or any of that, because you are me. Because I feel you are part of me, and I would never hurt myself naturally. I don't need rules, regulations, laws, governments. I don't need ethics, morals, values. I don't need any of that. I don't need accountability to know not to hurt myself. I could never take a knife and just start stabbing myself. I just can't. I couldn't do it. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. People get driven to very extreme, desperate circumstances. And most of the time, they've been very hurt at some point in time in their life. Very hurt, very hurt, very hurt, very hurt. And they haven't been able to get past it. So when I was asked what's the importance and what has this done for my life, you could take the word namaste. The light in me honors the light in you, the light in all. When we start to see this and realize this and feel this, it changes the game, really. Because now, I don't even want to swat a fly. I don't want to pull up my sago palm because I don't want to kill her. I don't want to trim my trees unless I ask my trees, myself. Not even my trees. I don't even want to say that. My family. Because everything speaks. Everything has a rhythm, a vibration, a heartbeat. Everything puts off a sound. So everything is alive. Everything's life. Now, when I see the self, myself, as all things, true. Everything's already true. When I see this, and I know that that tree is a part of me, and as a matter of fact, that tree is me because we're united as one, I would never, ever, ever take a chainsaw and cut my finger, that tree that's a part of me, that is me, off. I'm not saying we can't do that. Can't use trees to build and all those types of things. We can ask. But when we're coming and slaughtering all types of beings, grossly slaughtering, this realization is very important. When we're still fighting and warring and killing and murdering because we feel invulnerable, protecting our invulnerability, our vulnerability, because we're not knowing we're invulnerable and that everything is for us. When Isaiah talked about peace on earth, when the angel showed up and said peace on earth and goodwill towards all men, when Martin Luther King said he'd been to the mountaintop and seen the people that walked hand in hand, when John Lennon spoke of no heaven and earth, everything one and the same, when Bob Marley speaks of peace on earth, Isaiah said they'd beat their tools of war into pruning hooks and plowshares. There'd be no more war. The art of it's a realization. This is a realization. Yeah, trees are very intelligent. Trees are very, 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 very intelligent. Now, in the same way that so I'm one with everything right here, right? There's a greater body, invisible and visible. That's also one just like this. Now, through meditation and contemplation, I could even drop down in my finger, right? So my finger is me, right? It operates as my finger. Now, look, did I have to tell my finger to reach out and grab that? It just knows. This is the knowing I'm talking about here. This is the oneness I'm talking about. My tree doesn't turn around and ask me, "You sure about that?" my hand, I just grab the phone. It doesn't turn around and say, "I need confirmation," or anything like that. It's natural. It's who we are. It's who we are. That we'd be one. That we'd experience one. That we feel as if we're one, because we are. Now, if I can drop down in that finger, and I could do the same. I'm all places at all times. I can go to the beach right now. I can go to Africa right now. I can go sit with the one that I'm one with, Cyrus Caleb, right now. Now, I can just go into that tree right there. I can go into the clouds that I'm one with. This may sound crazy to you, but it's real. Now, if I know all things are true because I am true, and I love all things that are me, and I would never harm myself, and I love myself, why would first off, would I ever need to try and change anything? There's a place where we walk in complete peace and contentment. You're not trying to manifest anything. You know everything is for you, and everything flows from you and to you. Everything is. And so, if I know these things that I'm one, do I need a rule or a law or a government or regulation or morals or ethics or values to know not to go out there and cut my finger off the tree? No, I don't. Would I ever war against myself if I truly realize this and know this? No, I wouldn't. Would I ever murder my foot or my liver? Let's say my liver is the nation of, let's just say, Syria or the nation of Israel or the nation of Pakistan or the nation of Palestine or the nation of any of them. China, Russia, my heart, my organs, my kidneys. Would I ever go and chop that organ up? That nation that's full of many cells, many intelligences that have made up that organ, that nation. No, I wouldn't. So you want to know the importance of the realization of oneness, the practice and discipline through meditation of feeling that I'm one with and as all things, this is how peace on earth comes to pass. I have seen it. I have seen it. Individualism, separation, and dualism is not reality, is not self. That's what we've been taught. We are one. That's reality. And all things are true, which means there's nothing in error, there is no evil, and there is nothing imperfect. There's nothing that is false. Now, the illusion of self, the misrepresentation of reality, is everything you've been taught and what you have thought about yourself from all these external teachers, which has created a belief system, which is your current understanding, which is your life in reality. And now I've just said it's an illusion. Because who you've been taught and who you have thought yourself to be from all these external teachers that I've already named, through all the trauma, the hurt, the pain, is not the full truth. Is not reality. It's a misrepresentation of reality. But standing behind, lying underneath the illusion of reality, that misrepresentation of self, is the true self, the only self, which is source energy, which is God, which is the one and only being, which is all things, which is the I am in you, which is the Christ, the anointing, the projection, the expression of the one and only being that you are, which is the anointing, the one idea, the projection, expression, the one idea of the one and only being of itself, known as humanity. All things. So you can only encounter and experience that which you have always been. Jesus the Christ did not come to change anyone or anything. If God is all, then all is true. Why would I ever have to change anything that's true? Unless my own perception was dim and foggy. But my perception has been projected from a thought or a memory, a thought image, of what I've been taught and what I've thought myself to be. It's an illusion. And it's been cast or projected onto the canvas of reality, of what's true, distorting what's true. So I'm perceiving what I've been taught and what I've thought. So there's a letting go, but there's really not a letting go. There's only an embracing of what's always been. So Jesus the Christ didn't come to change a thing. He came to help unveil humanity in all things as it already was and has always been. So myself is true, therefore, which means all things are true, because myself is connected and one with and as all things. And when I see that, I don't want to even change a thing. All we do is love ourselves. And we would never harm, hurt, war, murder, kill, steal, any of that ourselves. And we naturally know this. So there's no need for all this government and regulations and rules and all. There's no need for it anymore. We're all waking to this. We're all remembering. We're all realizing what's always been. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. This is going down. So there's only in my opinion, one revelation, and it's one. And it just is. And the one is myself. It's a self realization. And it's true. And it is the only way. It is the way. Because I am the way. It is the truth because I am the truth. It is the life because I am that life. Which means all things are that truth, that way, and that life. Right now. Hope that helped. I gotta run. I got guys calling. I got work going on. Love you all. We're going deep. If you got any questions, hit me up. Better yet, contemplate, meditate, think about, focus on those questions because those questions are coming from yourself. You're being invited into a intimate conversation with yourself where you will gain a revelation or a revealing or an unveiling of what is true yourself. And ultimately, you're going to encounter, experience, feel, believe, know, and be yourself.